It's Wednesday, November 15th, 2017. It's time for WorthPoint Chats with Harry Rinker. I'm Greg Watkins from WorthPoint.com, and it's time for our weekly conversation with Harry Rinker, our expert in all things antiques and collectibles. How you doing tonight, Harry?
Well, I'm frustrated that we're late, and that's not because it's your fault this time. It's because my computer acted up, and somehow when Microsoft redid everything on my computer today, it disconnected my mic from my computer. And so we had to get it reconnected, but here we are, and I'm ready to
go. Here we are.
You know, it's amazing to me, this whole technology business. I lived in, it's interesting to talk about the ages in which you lived. I lived in the industrial age. Ta-da.
Yes.
Which is not the digital age. But I was at the tail end of the industrial age when all the great engineering things like automobiles and airplanes and space travel was in place. And then technology comes along. And now the millennials, and I've been doing a little bit of work on this. I'm going to be writing a series of columns on who are the millennials. And they are the generation with a foot in both parts. They came in at the very earliest part of the digital age. But many of them didn't learn it. I mean, they didn't have computers. Like the kids that are 20, yes, they have smartphones. Yes, they have computers. But they're dealing with the digital age as it stands. They still can function in the old non-computer world. But then there's my granddaughter, who's 12, who can't function. And my grandson, who's 9, even worse, cannot function outside technology. They have no ability to do anything unless they have a technological device helping them. And it's very frustrating. And so where I am is, I think back, I remember, he says, when I was teaching a course in Texas, one of the Institute for the Study of Antique and Collectibles business courses, and this was in the it had to be, in the late 1980s. And somebody said to me, Harry, do you think we'll ever need a computer to stay in the antiques and collectible business, or we can get by with it in our lifetime without one? I said, no problem. Don't worry about it. You can get by without it. now, this was pre-eBay even. I made that pre-eBay. Well, I am so tied to these infernal machines, okay, that there's no way I can do it. And the fact that we're doing this night shows how tied I am to the infernal machines. Because if the infernal machines don't work, we're dead in the water.
That's right. We can't do this. We can't do it without the machines working.
But I still function in the old world. I'm in a big dispute for the moment with my daughter, who thinks that if you give somebody a gift, you should call them up and say thank you over the phone. You don't have to write thank you notes. And I suggested that if her son doesn't want to write thank you note, it's fine with me, because I won't give him any gifts he has to write thank you notes for. Because I still am tied up in this. And I told her, I said, look, I'm a sport. I will accept an email thank you. Okay, I mean, let's be realistic. I'll accept an email thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
But I want some. And I don't know why I should think an email is hard copy, except I can print it out on a piece of paper and there it is, right?
Yeah.
But I want hard copy. I want something I want to kill trees the rest of my life. So as you may notice off to my side over here, over that way, right?
Right.
Those are about
stack of dead trees.
Correspondence I printed out that I've not looked at in 2 years. And I don't care. There in case I want to check it out.
It's there for just in case.
Well, what happens if I lose the 8,500 some emails that I have on AOL.com? I'm supposed to eliminate them, I know, but I never eliminate any emails. And so, it's fascinating. But the new generation, But one that's going to impact the antiques and collectibles trade is not the millennials. It's the next generation, the entitlement generation, or whatever generation you want to call it. They are totally digital. They are totally digital. They are not going to use the traditional antiques and collectible sales venues we have now. And we had an interesting comment. I got a letter from someone. Maybe one of our viewers, may not have been. People have a bad habit of sending me emails and not telling me why they're sending me or how they're getting to me. but this one
statement or question, right?
Well, this one went to invaluable.com. Now, invaluable.com is one of these sites where auctions post, their activity, right?
Yeah.
And they take bids there, right? So this guy goes up and he sees this auction with stuff that he wants. So he signs up with invaluable.com, right?
Yeah.
And then what he does is, as the auction takes places, he puts in bids when the lots come up, assuming that Invaluable is going to be putting those bids in for him at the time. But Invaluable really does is do pre-book bids, book bids prior to the auction. So the auction's over. The guy was watching these lots. He sees they sell for numbers below the bids that he put in, and figure he's made a killing. Only to find out that Invaluable didn't order any bids from him until lot 700, and he had all lower lot numbers. So he lost everything. But now he's not happy. He's not a happy camper at all. Whose fault is this that I didn't win, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I always tell people in the antiques and collectibles trade? If there's a problem, the answer always rests in one place, the mirror. Mm-hmm. And if you look in the mirror, you know why there was a problem. The guy didn't realize what Invaluable was. It wasn't an instant online bidding service at the time of the auction. It was taking preset bids. He wanted to put his presets bids in. He should have done that then. The difficulty with book bids, you know what a book bid is, right? An auction book, right?
Right.
In the old days, when you went to an auction, you would go to the preview, and you couldn't go to the auction. So you'd say to the auctioneer, I'm interested in buying this, and this is the maximum I'll pay, right?
Yeah.
So your assumption is that the auctioneer will open the piece lower and then take it up, and wherever it stops and it's your bid on the top, you win, right? Now, that's one of the dumbest assumptions in the antiques and collectible trades, because if you tell the auctioneer you're willing to pay $300 for a piece if you win, what do you think you will pay? Ta-da!
$300.
$300, because
he'll
she'll bid it or bounce it off the wall, but you don't give anybody a maximum bid in a book. I mean, why would an auctioneer have a book bid of $300, open it up, the thing is moving along, and it stops at $60? And so, what do you think he's going to say? Well, I'll close it at $60, and that guy gets a deal. Well, between 60 and 300 is $220. He gets a 10 or 15% commission plus a 13% buyer's fee. You think there's an incentive for him to quit at $60? So when I used to buy on eBay, I used a sniping service. That's that service that when you have a timed auction, where the auction ends at a certain moment in time, right?
Right.
You can use a sniping service that puts your bid in 10 seconds before the auction closes, or 5 seconds before the auction closes. And oftentimes you can put a maximum bid in there, but if the auction only jumps one increment at a time, you can often get your things for much lower than you're willing to pay, right? Well, of course, right. eBay is not like that, and nor does any auction company. What surprised me is so many of these auction companies have bid services now, like Live Auctioneers and others, that I thought, well, there's got to be sniping services for live online auctions, not eBay auctions, but other ones. I couldn't find them. I couldn't find other sniping services. Somehow, either the auctioneers or somebody block them. And that was interesting, because that way, if you're going to participate in like a liveauction.com auction, you've got to be at the computer when that lot comes up, because, see, that's what sniping did. You never had to be around for the bidding. sniping took care of it for you. And so I'm exploring more of this. I thought I found one or two that would work on things like liveauctioneers.com and whatever, but apparently not. But there's got to be one out there, or somebody's got to have figured this out for the system. Now, the question becomes, is sniping illegal? No. No one says you can't use an electronic bidding method, right?
Right.
So why not? Why not? There's an opportunity out there for some entrepreneurial person to develop this type of thing. But anyway, so this guy, he wants the right to invaluable. He wants the right to the auctioneer. He wants the right to everything. Listen, at an auction, if the auction is either online or if the auctioneer is taking online bids as well as bids from a floor, title passes at the sound of the hammer. And if that ain't your hammer, it ain't your piece, right?
Right.
So that's why you don't scratch your heads at auction, because you wind up buying a lot of strange stuff that way.
That's right.
And I speak from some experience on that point.
Is that right?
Where I had to yell at the auctioneer, I didn't buy that. He said, yes, you did. And I said, no, I didn't, and I'm not paying for it. Auction it again. But hey, it doesn't make the auctioneer friendly with you either.
No.
But I thought it was interesting to talk about that because it is. I honestly believe that within 10 to 15 years, there'll be no more auction galleries, live auctions in a gallery. It's going to be all done on the computer. And so somehow they've got to get this stuff instantaneous. And the problem is that the advantage will still rest with the person that can be there on the computer when the thing is sold, unless they develop some sniping programs or other ways of bidding programs. Now, they can always give the auctioneer a book bid, and if you get some honest auctioneers that won't run it all the way up, but come on, let's face it. It's like the reserve. You know, some auction companies set a reserve, and some of them believe in it. And so if they have a single bidder, they'll just keep show bidding it up till they get to the reserve.
Right.
Sorry, am I boring you here? No.
No.
All right. Well, anyway, it's been a fun week. Interestingly enough, been doing some additional genealogy work, been doing a whole bunch of research work. Had an interesting experience this week. Actually, I'll tell you what, we'll hold off talking about this till a future show because I want to get some images out to you. I didn't send you the image of the carte de visite with a woman in German dress, did I?
No.
I gotta get. Well, I said that just because I wanted to say it, but I did send you some images, so let's talk about one of them, right?
Okay. How about this one?
Yes. How about that one? Now I have to tell you what. Remember when we were teaching authenticating antiques and collectibles and stuff, and I said you have to learn color vocabularies.
Yes.
Well, one look at this, buddy, right? And you know you're in the 50s or 60s.
Correct.
Right. Now,
I can place it, but I can't name that color.
Well, we'll get to that. Anyway, I got an email in from someone from Altoona, PA. Said I have a collection of reddish pink serving pieces of butter dish, creamer and sugar, and 2 bowls. While the back is marked Royal Raquel. Okay, and there it is. There's some mark on the back. Actually, it shows up better here than it does on my computer, but there you are. Royal Dinnerware, all right?
Yep.
Now, these dishes were made from melamine. Melamine plastic is a thermoset plastic. It's made by combining melamine resin with strengthening materials. And the deal was it could hold up under dishwasher and heavy heat, all right? And it was supposedly unbreakable. American Cyanoamide, under contract to the United States military, developed a durable plastic that can be used during dining hall trays, because you know when they were feeding the troops in the barracks dining hall, that why they needed a tray they could wash 3 times a day under heavy pressure and heat and reuse it and get it dried right away. And So American Cyanamide developed this melamine plastic, and then in the late 1940s, they said after the war was over, we got to find a way to do this. So they hired, of all people, Russell Wright, very famous industrial designer, designed products for them and produced feedback. And he developed Meladuraware. Now, what you have to understand is that American Cyanamide held the patent to the plastic method, but companies could obtain a lease of the product line, right?
Yes.
And so what happened was that they leased it to a lot of different companies, Booton and a whole bunch of others. But by the 1950s, Melmac dinnerware was the rage. Now, I tell you a lot about this product too. It's fun when you start doing research work. I love this. A woman named Kay Lee Moyne, M-O-Y-N-E, designed the Royal Color Flight, C-O-L-R, capital F-L-Y-T-E, for the back company of St. Louis. It was produced from 1952 to 1958. And I found a full page description in Better Homes and Gardens, and there it said Royal Color Flight was available in flame pink, charcoal gray, gardenia white, turquoise, and rainbow, which was really a combination of the other four colors. So there it is. That is flaming pink. A 16-piece starter set retailed for $15.95. 45-piece set for $8 cost $49. The butter dish was $3.25. That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, that does sound pretty expensive.
No, really, for the 50s, come on, man. Covered sugar. That's when candy bars were a nickel. That's like what? 40 candy bars for the sugar. Anyway, now I got to tell you, there's a side to I tell you why I want to talk about this. My first wife was Italian. Enough said about that. But she had a temper and a fiery temper, and it didn't take much to set her off. She was so temperamental, you didn't even have to strike a match. But when she was in the kitchen and she was angry, she would grab the melamine dinnerware that we had and fling it through the air. Now, all you had to do was duck, right? And you were safe. But she flung it so hard that when it bounced off the walls, it shattered into pieces. And I'm not talking about once. She was consistent with this, okay? So I wrote American Cyanamide, and I said, look, I think you want to hire my wife for your test kitchen because she'll prove to you that your ware is breakable. And until you design something she can't break, you can't advertise it that way. Well, as you can imagine, I never received a response, right?
Yeah.
So moving on down about all of this, American Cyanamide issued a license for melamine to a lot of different manufacturers, and one of them was Raquel of St. Louis. Now, melamine, a lot of people collect this stuff. I mean, it's, if you're a modernist collector, it's great stuff, right? There's only one problem. It's neither dishwasher safe or microwave safe. You also don't want to ever put it on top of a stove because it's not heat safe either. Okay, so it doesn't break. It's nice, and some of the pieces like this, if you get a full set of them, I mean, you can get them for under $50 on the net. Now let's go up to the Worthopedia and see what we can find for Royal R-A-Y-L. And you got a lot of stuff, right?
Well, under Royale Dinnerware Melmac Branchel, there are 35 entries.
Yeah, but look at the big pile of it there, right?
Yeah.
Nice lot, 68 pieces, and it sold for $98.
Yeah, that was.
But that was a lot. I mean, that looks like a setting for 12 or more. I mean that's cheap, I think, and that was in 2009, and that wouldn't sell for that today. I'll tell you that.
So is this the rainbow set?
Yeah. Those are it shows all the colors. There's the.
Okay, so I can count 8 coffee cups. So this is probably a set for 8.
Yeah, but there's the flaming. What were the colors again? One was flaming pink is there, right?
Yeah. Turquoise.
And gray is. Turquoise is there, and gray is there, and white is there.
Yeah, along with some greens.
Yep. Yeah, they must have added some green later on, okay? Or maybe that was earlier. But anyway, there it is. But let's see if we could find a bowl or sugar or something in there that may give us some indication here. But see, most of it comes out, and I can't blame it. If people find it, they try to sell a pile because it doesn't make any sense to try to sell it individually. Seriously. Okay?
Yeah.
But try. Oh, now see, there's a single bowl, a divided bowl. See it?
The divided bowl?
Yeah. Now, what did they get for that one? Oh, they got $16.50 for it. But again, in 2011, that's not a bad price. In 2011, that's after the fall. But what are you gonna do with it? I mean, it's nice, it's fun. Maybe somebody had a set and needed some serving pieces. That could explain why that price was there. Salt and peppers brought a good price too, didn't they?
Well, these blue ones here got $10.50.
Yeah, all right.
The red ones here got 16.
Yeah,
the black ones got 16.
But you see what's not bringing money? What's not bringing money are the dinner plates. The dinner plates, salad plates, cups, and saucers.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, it's the serving pieces, and that's the flat out rule for all China. Oh no, wait a minute. Keep on going down. Did I see there's an ad? That guy. Oh, there's an ad somebody was selling. Let's pull that up. 1957. But you don't see the green there, so that must have come earlier. That's all the colors that we had, right?
Yeah, the blue, the black.
Oh no, the flaming pink and
pink,
and
the charcoal, the turquoise, and what was the white one?
White.
Just plain white.
Gardenia white.
Yeah.
What can we say?
Okay,
right,
so I'm looking here. I'm trying to read the prices, and they're so tiny.
Well, that's the story. But no, I think those prices were identical to the ones that I used.
8-inch salad plate was $1.30.
Yep. Well, anyway, there you go. So we know more about melamine plastic than we ever want to know now, and what have you. And unfortunately, my wife didn't destroy enough of it. So anyway, I promised one of our viewers that we would have a discussion of a rather interesting piece. Now, this is one of those. This is a case where it's fascinating to me. In fact, the stuff just came in today. I got an email from somebody who's a subscriber to Antique Weekly, and he says, I want to share with you, I have 3 book carriers from, I believe, the 1880s. Each one operates differently. Okay, we're going to show them up there. One has a handle made of 2 spindle-shaped pieces of wood, which are wound to tight straps and then locked into place. I was able to find a picture of this one online. One of my other works with a crank. A ratchet prevents it from unwinding. The third holds straps and clamps. And here you can see some of his examples, right?
Right.
All right. Now, he wasn't able to find a lot of them on the line, okay? And he says, I don't want to miss anything. Would you be able to tell me about them, including their use and popularity, their value, and their rarity? All right? Well, the answer is they're not rare. For starters, they're extremely common, and you can find them all over the net. All right? And we'll prove that. We'll prove that by one simple way. Well, before we prove that by going to the Worthopedia, which I know you can do.
Yeah.
I got another email from him, and because I found a picture up on the net of a young lady coming down the stairs. There it is, right?
Yeah.
Holding one of these carriers in her hand, right? And there's the books all strapped up like you would expect. Very nice. Now, this is the problem about finding pictures on the net. They post these pictures of a place like Pinterest and that type of stuff, and there's no explanation about them, no indication of how they're marked on the back or anything. I mean, those people should be shot. But anyway, so I sent him the picture, and he responds back. He says, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing these book carriers are unusual, perhaps rare. I'm glad I have 3 different types. I've had them for about 25 years. I purchased them from Rose or Zell on 2 separate occasions. She and her husband, John, were from Emmaus, Pennsylvania. I got them at antique shows at the D.C. Armory when I lived in Alexandria. All right? Now, you know what the problem is, why he thinks they're rare? Because he hasn't been on eBay.
Yeah.
Seriously, right? Or he's not a subscriber to WorthPoint, which would solve his problem too. So let's go to WorthPoint and the Worthopedia and take a look at these things.
All right.
And just
So,
type in antique book carriers. And you should come up with a ton of stuff. Oh, try best match, not prices high to low. I made that mistake too the first time I tried to do this.
right. Well, there we go.
And look at them. All right, now, and the problem is if you try to do most recent, uh, uh, most recent sales, you'll get a whole bunch of. Try that again, but I think when I tried it, I got a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
you get a whole bunch of unrelated stuff, which frustrates me. I have to say because I'm hoping. I always keep thinking that maybe they'll take it off the thing I'm looking at. But let's go back to best match. So here's the deal: these things are around, and there's a lot of them around. And it's not like you're seeing 2 or 3 a year on there. You're seeing a dozen or so. And you look at the dates: 2015, 2011. They're there. And not only the varieties that he has, but other kinds as well. Now, I got kind of turned on when I got his email because among the things that I inherited from my father in the great junk boxes were a bunch of old books, and in there was a elongated board with a handle on it and then straps at each end. And it was very easy to come to the conclusion that this was a book carrier. But then when I was doing research today on carriers, didn't I see a case where the one that exactly like the one I had was used to carry duffel bags? Now, I suspect every one of these book strap carriers could be used to carry anything. I mean, logs, whatever you want to use them for. I mean, why would you just
whatever you can strap on there?
Right. I mean, you want to put a bedroll on there and carry it or whatever. You don't have to use them to carry books. But the thing about it is that in looking at all of these things, I don't know what he paid for these things. Really, I don't. But the truth of the matter is that this one for $75 is a lot of money because most of them sold for under 30 when I checked them out in detail earlier today, which goes to show, again, several things. If you only buy in one source, in this case at the antique show, and you rely on these people, one dealer to find stuff, you're never going to have a sense of what the value is in the marketplace. You get stuck on the value that they have, right?
Right.
So what happens is that you have to do. Now, are you on eBay now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's one on eBay, $85, but there's one for $12.50. Okay. There's another one for $89, and there's one for $49, right?
Right.
And we also know from the sell-through business. And there's another one for $89. We also know from the sell-through business on WorthPoint that those numbers are a little bit on the ridiculous side.
Right. So these are what have sold recently. These are the sales prices.
Well, they're bringing. Well, there's some for 30, but there's some for 100 too. So you got somebody out there trying to do it. But the truth of the matter is they're not rare, right?
Right.
There's a lot of them in the recent sale prices. That was a good thing to do. Use the current sales prices and see what they sold through for. But there was one 29, 29, 32, right?
Yep. 24.
So, now you got a couple, and there's another one for 32, 32. And then you got a couple in the high 80s. So it's really, I guess, learning to know what types are worth more to somebody than to other types. But then again, one of the things on eBay is you don't always want to be to buy the first one you see. You want to buy the third or fourth one you see because that gets all the other buyers off the hook, right?
Right.
So it's interesting, and I don't know what the guy. This is always one of the things when people send you information, they don't tell you what they paid for anything. And he bought his a while ago, so it's there. But they are kind of a neat thing, and they were indeed a very practical device. So there's one for $12, right? $12.50.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. But it also goes to show that if things are out there, all you need to do is be patient. You don't have to buy the first one you see. You need to do some comparison shopping. You need to understand what the market will bear. Okay, and I have to tell you, you ready for this? In my search, I found one with a beer advertisement on the handle. Okay.
On the book carrier?
Yes. Now, trust me, that wasn't to carry books.
No.
No. Right.
Was
It would
to
be
carry
to assume that
6
that's not
packs.
book carry. Now, having said that, one of Christmas is coming up. I'm going to have to get it out here soon. One of my favorite, I have what I call the Industrial Hall of Shame collection of stuff that was made that shouldn't have been made. And what happened is my friend in Germany was the president of Bergbräu Brewery. And Bergbräu decided that it would do a little music box, a case of beer music box, which it would hand out to kids, because in Germany, parents often send their kids down to the bar to get a bucket of beer. Okay?
Yeah.
They sell the kids buckets of beer in Germany. I don't know. So he orders up, I don't know how many gross or more of them, these things, several gross. And they get delivered and they play the tune, and it's Drink, Drink, Bruderwein Drink, which is a song of the wine industry. So the company never handed out any of them, but I got a couple of them. Why not? Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, my attitude is if it's got a beer advertisement, it's not about carrying books, right?
Right.
But you could put together a fun collection, I think. And the other thing that I think this guy needs to do is, I don't know if they have patent numbers on it. They may not, but I'll bet there are patents for them.
Actually, one of them I can see has a patent number on it.
Yeah, especially because they're mechanical. So, man, you should be looking up the patents for them. That'd make a great research project, actually. Well, okay. There they are. Oh, there it is. There it is, right?
Yeah.
And you got a date, too, on it, right? Should be able to look that one up. You bet. All righty. Well, enough of all this silliness again. We did get this done tonight. We don't have to do it tomorrow night. Hopefully now your computer is fixed. My computer is fixed. And hopefully, I won't get down on my knees and beg, but we need some letters to the WorthPoint mailbag. The What You Got WorthPoint Chats with Harry Rinker mailbag. What would you like us to talk about? What subject matters would interest you to have? We'd love to do it. I always find something to talk about, but we'd like to talk about some things you'd like to hear about it. Or if you have an object or objects you'd like to talk about us on the air, send an email. Now, would the objects be as descriptive as possible, size, markings, photographs, the biggest off the wall? Excuse me. But anyway, send them to community@worthpoint.com. That's community@worthpoint.com. Community@worthpoint.com. All right, there we go.
Yeah, we made it.
Well, let's get some emails in. Come on. I get a lot of emails for my radio show, What You Got, and I get a lot of emails for my newspaper column, Rinker on Collectibles, which, by the way, will be celebrating its 31st birthday in another month. When I write column 1612. Whoa. But anyway, here's the deal, gang. We are not taking a break for Thanksgiving, right?
No, we're going to do it next Wednesday night.
We will be doing this from Florida, where the logistics of trying to get this to work are even more fun than they are from my office here in Kenwood.
I think we've ran through all the troubleshooting problems that we should not be surprised by.
Poo to you. You don't believe that for a minute, do you?
No, I do not.
No, that's what I thought too. Talk to you next week here.
You have a good evening.
You bet.
Talk to you next week. Good night.
Good night, sir.